Hello, everybody. I'm KZ, and welcome back to the Big Think Mailbag. It's our show that comes out sometimes where we answer your questions that you send over to btd@gigaboots.com. That is btd@gigaboots.com. This is the second part of a two-parter where we went through all of the questions we had stocked up, and we're going to jump into that right here. Let's get started.
Okay. So we're going to be quick with this next question because I'm pretty sure we've answered a vaguely similar question before. The RPG dude writes, "Howdy, Big Think Dimension crew. Hope you are all having a good week. Since games recently are getting remakes like Resident Evil 2 and the newly announced Link's Awakening for the Switch, is there a game you personally think deserves to have a remake? The Bouncer." Bob?
Devil May Cry 1.
Okay. Where's your real answer?
No, that actually is my real answer. If Platinum made a remake of The Bouncer, I think it would go really great.
I mean, a lot of the problem with The Bouncer is just the feel.
Yeah, the problem with The Bouncer mostly is the fucked up experience system and the fact they use pressure-sensitive buttons, because Sony did that thing that Sony always does when they're about to launch a console. They're like, hey, you can get a marketing backing from us, but you got to be exclusive, and you got to take advantage of our amazing features like pressure-sensitive buttons, back touch, touchpad,
the eye toy.
the fucking eye toy. Hey, Eye of Judgment's great. Actually, Dr.
PlayStation Move.
Dr. Aggro and Hale Zeon were both really into Eye of Judgment, if I remember correctly.
Of course they were.
It's a card game that's augmented reality.
Yeah, no,
Look,
it's Yu-Gi-Oh, but real.
It's like that weird Final Fantasy 9 thing.
Oh,
whatever the fuck.
Tetra Battle?
Yeah, it's like Tetra Battle. But a card game. But an AR card game. What is your answer, KZ?
That's tough. Every time I like something, it ends up getting like some sort of a remake. But there's like there is one safe one where I kind of like the idea because they were halfway doing it almost with Odyssey, is just make Super Mario 64 again using that engine.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
I like the idea of them just doing that.
Yes,
because I don't want to play Super Mario 64 DS and plays Yoshi for 30 stars and then plays Wario.
You know, honestly, I could deal with that, but I really
use a 3DS.
Yeah, I can't deal with the fucking virtual joystick or D-pad or any of that shit. Like the idea of Yoshi's mobility stuff in Mario 64 is at least interesting, but the rest of that shit is just ugh.
Does that game work fine if you pop it into a 3DS? Like, does the stick work all right, or do you have to use the fucking
No,
D-pad?
because it's just mapping to a D-pad. So if you pushed it enough, then it registers a direction. So at the end of the day, it's the exact same, but even slipperier. Yeah, it's not great. So I side with KZ here.
Yeah, I think that would be a good choice at that point.
Field, do you have one?
Okay, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, so we can have a well-running version of those games on consoles.
That'd be neat.
That would be very neat.
Secondary answer, Tales of Phantasia, because the United States never got a good version of that game.
It's also the first Tales game.
Yeah, and it's the first one. We got the fucking Game Boy Advance version.
Yeah.
Always the best place for your Super Nintendo games.
Okay.
It got upgraded into a PlayStation 1 game with like all redone sprites and a new character and voice acting and shit.
Okay, Kyle C. writes in, "Hey, super best Giga Boys. A nice and quick one. Who would you say are your favorite video game composers? For me, I have to go with Shoji Meguro and Yoko Shimomura. Keep up the great work and keep being awesome. Michiru Yamane and Yuzo Koshiro, which unfortunately Yuzo's music borrows a lot. In fact, all of Streets of Rage 2 is stolen, but it's still a really great soundtrack. I do like I do really, really enjoy some of Yoko Shimomura's work, and I also enjoy the composer who's working on Indivisible, who did Secret of Mana, but I can't remember their name. Bob, can you remember?
I can't remember either.
Okay. I also like some of their work. But yeah, I think Yuzo's best work is easily like ActRaiser, Streets of Rage 2, he did like, so if you can imagine, with two of my favorite composers being Yuzo Koshiro and Michiru Yamane, Portrait of Ruin was a fucking field day for me. Because it's just
when you enter
them.
that last zone of Portrait of Ruin, when you enter like where Dracula's like keep is, there's just a really, really good track in Master's Keep, I think is the zone's name, and it's just so fucking raw.
It is so raw. Oh man, such a fucking good game, Portrait of Ruin.
Mm-hmm.
Castlevania Dungeon back in the day was filled with a bunch of people who called it pork because they decided the game was low quality and bad.
Wait, why is
it's
pork
got
even?
Charlotte and Jonathan and Charlotte and Jonathan.
What's wrong with pork?
Portrait of Ruin is really good.
Bob, what
is wrong with pork? Why is that the low
apparently
grade?
that's their go-to dismissive term for low quality things. They call it pork.
I don't get it.
Are you going to come out?
Is fantastic,
dude. Pulled pork is fantastic. Are we going back to the fast food thing? Jim and Nick's is really good. When I go to Jim and Nick's, I get myself a brisket sandwich.
I have some problems here.
Okay.
Pulled pork, I don't get it, because if you pull out the pork, you're just eating pull.
Bob likes eating pulleys. He needs his fiber.
What in the world is going on?
Keeps him regular. Bob.
Hey, what's up, Bob? You want to eat a pull sandwich with me?
No.
Bob.
You pulled all the pork out.
Bob.
Hey, what's up?
Video game composers.
I also had
Go.
Michiru and Yuzo written down. Like
Okay.
I read ahead a little bit.
Okay.
I really
we can add Harry Gregson Williams.
I mean, he is really good.
Yeah, his work's incredible.
I had to look up the composer for Nier Automata, which is Keiichi Okabe,
Yeah,
and they're really good.
yeah. Okabe
They also
does.
do some stuff for Tekken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Tekken's music is fucking. You know what? Can we generalize? Ridge Racer team back in the Namco Sound days when they did Tekken and Ridge Racer, incredible. Ridge Racer Type 4, one of the best soundtracks ever. Tekken 5, one of the best soundtracks ever.
Zone of the Enders music really gets me.
Zone of the Enders 2 is one of the only game soundtracks I imported on CD because it's really good. Beyond the Bounds, really great song. Incredible. I do find it funny that if you guys go back and watch the movie Speed, the soundtrack is a proto Metal Gear Solid soundtrack because it's being worked on by Harry Gregson Williams. Like the sound team is Harry Gregson Williams. Yeah. Because the name on the banner is like Hans Zimmer, right? The name on the banner is someone else, but Harry Gregson Williams and someone else worked on the soundtrack. So it sounds like a Metal Gear soundtrack. It's fucking hilarious.
It is really crazy.
Me and Bob are just looking at each other watching Speed, and we're like, why the fuck does this sound like Metal Gear Solid 2? What the fuck's going on? Colonel? Bob's
Can we
now
watch Speed for a podcast?
You know what? Yeah.
I mean,
How about Speed 2 Cruise Control?
Yes.
Oh, God.
That's cursed.
It is. I really
And
want
there
to
we
watch
go.
that again.
Any movie where you have 30 minutes straight of a speedboat going over land.
A cruise ship, Dan.
Oh, it's a cruise ship. I'm sorry. That's way more plausible. You're
Yes,
right.
definitely. You're right.
I think you're describing the climax of a future Fast and the Furious film.
Yeah. I mean, or a Jackie Chan movie. Because they had that amphibious vehicle they took on land.
Yeah,
And
that was good. Rumble of Rocks is a great movie.
Rumble in the Bronx is a great film. They run an amphibious watercraft over a person on the beach, and it just rips their clothes off. So now it's just some fat white dude with his ass showing.
Yeah, that guy's on a golf course. The guys on the beach are fine because that's Jackie Chan.
The guys on the beach are fine, but then they find the fat cat mobster and they run him over in this amphibious fucking airboat. And it rips his clothes off, so now he's some fat white asshole with his ass facing the camera. And Jackie Chan's like, yeah! And the freeze frame, and that's the end of the film.
Because that's how you edited them in the day.
That's how they ended cinema back in the good old days.
In China, that is.
In China, Canada. Rumble in the Bronx, made by the Chinese, filmed in Canada. Hey, KZ. Video game composers go.
So my top's going to be Yoko Shimomura because I remember the music I connected with quite a bit as a kid was Super Mario RPG.
And Traverse Town.
Yeah, that was her
Traverse Town.
operating at peak whimsy Super Mario RPG.
And then of course I enjoyed the Mario and Luigi games, which she also composed for because they knew how good Mario RPG soundtrack was.
Yeah, I mean,
then they ruined it for the 3DS versions.
yeah, Shimamura.
Yeah, but
also,
no one's playing those remakes, so who cares about talking about them?
Yeah, Shimamura also did the soundtrack for Super Mario RPG, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I really do like a lot of things she's done.
Dan?
Yeah.
I said that while you were humming.
Yeah, it's true.
Sorry. I brought up Traverse Town and then my brain hurt and I just went into a trance.
You literally cut me off saying it so you could talk about Traverse Town.
You had to heal after you said that.
Yeah, Traverse Town literally haunts me. I think it's one of the worst themes in any video game ever. It's
Also,
it's
What are you talking
Yokoshima-
about? Traverse Town is fine.
it is a haunting
Yoko
lilting
Shimomura,
tone.
Legend of Mana, one of the best games on the PlayStation 1.
Legend Mana
That
is
is
really good.
Street Fighter
Has
2.
Incredible music.
Street Fighter 2 has incredible music that it stole.
That's perfectly acceptable. She
I
figured
agree.
out how to compose Blanca's theme while on a bus at the last minute.
She also listening to the Top Gun soundtrack and stealing thieves. Actually,
No.
I haven't looked up the credits. I don't remember who stole Ken Masters' theme.
It might have been Isao Abe, who also worked on Street Fighter 2's soundtrack. But love her stuff a lot. Another person who works on Kingdom Hearts now is Takaharu Ishimoto, who does a lot of stuff for Square, like the recent Dissidia game, as well as Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy Type 0. Does focuses more on like rock themes and also some
Oh man, I forgot to bring up
synth tracks.
Uematsu.
Nobuo Uematsu?
Yeah,
Never heard of him.
I know.
Who? What have they done?
Battle on the Big Bridge is okay, I guess.
Oh my god.
Fine.
He dies.
It's fine.
I'm crumbling. But if I wanted to pick some Western composers, Mick Gordon,
Oh,
more
fuck.
recently.
Fuck
through
Western
his stuff
composers.
What did he do?
Yeah. He did Killer Instinct 2013 for the first 2 seasons of that.
Yeah, it's good
Which-
music.
Yeah, there's some really good tracks there. Doom recently. Doom
Yeah, he did.
2016.
He did the reboot of Doom, which is incredible musically
So
speaking.
he's the only good Western video composer in modern times?
What we're trying to say
no,
is he's
you're-
really into Nine Inch
I was
Nails.
about to mention one.
But
Okay.
yeah, he did that stuff. He's doing a lot of Bethesda's like soundtracks now because I believe he also did Wolfenstein, and he's definitely on the next Doom. And in interviews, he said that he loved composers like Grant Kirkhope and stuff from Rareware games, and he feels Western composers have forgotten that they need to make video game soundtracks that sound good and feel catchy, and he wants to bring that style back.
He's
the
doing
industry.
a good job.
They need to make music instead of pathetic ambient horse shit.
Yeah, and the other one I would say is David Wise, who did the Donkey Kong Country games, and recently Tropical Freeze. He returned to the series for that, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, Tropical
his-
Freeze has really good music. I remember that a whole mountain island had incredible music.
The music that he got out of the Super Nintendo is just nuts of what he was able to achieve with that. So, Phil, what are your composers you like?
Let's go through these quick because I got a bunch. Tim Fallon, he did the NES Silver Surfer, and he did Plock. And Plock has an incredible soundtrack to the point when Shigeru Miyamoto, when he heard the soundtrack of Plock, thought that Tim Fallon was lying when he said that was a normal Super Nintendo.
Yep.
Which is
No
very
one remembers
Miyamoto.
Plock.
Just like Donkey Kong Country.
Then
where
Then
it's
you
like,
have
how?
Jake Kaufman, aka Vert, who did all the music for Shovel Knight, or most of it, and does the music for Shantae and is helping on Bloodstained.
So here's the thing with Vert's music, okay? And I just want to field this out there and see what people are going to say in the comments and what you guys think. I love his shit. It is masterfully crafted, but for some reason it seems too poppy at the end of the day, and it doesn't have as much of a lasting appeal as many of the other composers. Like, I love Mighty Switch Force's soundtrack, but something about it just like that, it's so saccharine to a point where it just it doesn't have lasting appeal to me. Like, I kind of tire of listening to those themes But keep in mind, Space Cuba is a really fucking incredible song. Like, I'm not knocking his shit, but that's the main reason why I didn't consider him, like, why he didn't pop in my head. Because I
don't know. He's done so many songs that I think are incredible. Like, Shovel Knight has several alone.
Shovel Knight, its soundtrack is above and beyond every other game he's worked on by a lot.
And then he did Double Dragon Neon, which has good
Double
songs.
Dragon Neon song is pretty good. That second level theme, as we mentioned before, Neon Jungle. Yeah. Anyway.
Then there's Ken Nakagawa, who nobody has heard of because he just does the Atelier soundtracks. And although he quit a while back, but he did some of the really good ones. And those games have really good, unique soundtracks, and all of them. They have a very unique sound to any other game. And then you have the Falcom Sound team, who is that I'm counting them as one because that's just what they get credited as most of the time.
They have one incredibly powerful electric guitar.
And violins and pianos and everything. And then Michiko Naruke, who did the Wild Arms soundtracks. Yes, some of those songs are just completely stolen. Like the map theme of Wild Arms 1 is just that one fucking song from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I think it is.
Really? It's just a...
It's an Ennio Morricone song.
Wow.
But hey, man.
The Ecstasy of Gold. It's just the Ecstasy of Gold.
It's a fucking good guy to rip off.
But she's also done a lot of, songs that weren't ripped off that are really good, in Wild Arms 2 especially. So those are my picks. Oh, and Toby Fox. Toby Fox has an extremely high power level when it comes to composing. Where he's just like,
power level.
What if every single song in this game is part of a leitmotif, and then at the end I just kill you with it?
I'm impressed you know how to say that.
Fuck you.
I thought you were going to go like let motive.
I love Jet Moto.
Yeah. I was also going to say Masayoshi Soken, who does the Final Fantasy XIV music. Some of that is clearly stolen in a couple of examples.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the songs was like just stolen from an Andre 3000 song.
There's also Power Man 5000 or whatever.
Oh, Power Man 5000.
Yeah. Because in one of the parts of the game, you get to fight the three warring triad from Final Fantasy VI, and the brutish one, Sephiroth, without an H, has a Power Man thing for a second phase, and
it's when worlds collide.
Hilariously stolen. It sounds exactly the same.
It's fucking unreal because
but then you just
the intro is literally identical.
Turn the music up real high.
That I immediately when that first came out, and I just jumped into that fight. You go through a really good recreation of one of the FF6 boss themes, and then it goes to that, and I'm like, is this Worlds Collide? And it is.
Am I having a stroke? There's no fucking way. And then it's like, is there anybody out there? This is what and you're like, what?
But yeah, he does way too much good work on that soundtrack. A lot of really good use of like leitmotifs, and just there's like 800 songs in that game. And I like pretty much all of them. It also has a lot of really good range, too. Like, some stuff sounds... It's like he's making soundtracks for different games every, 3 or 4 dozen songs.
Okay, we have a question from Ryan. He says, "Hi, smart people. I'm disappointed by your uncreative address. I'm currently one of the only people on Earth who is using their 3DS, but only so I can play Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. The more I use the 3DS, the more I hate looking at it and playing on it. So my question is, have you ever done something that actively annoys / frustrates / pains you for the purpose of doing something you enjoy? Thanks
Boy,
for
this
the
is a
podcast.
good question for you, huh, Dan?
Everything you've ever enjoyed from us. Okay, I'm done. Bob?
I really enjoy GigaBoots
sweeping.
What did you say, Bob?
That's a really sweeping statement there.
Is it, though?
I mean, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying it covers everything.
All content is suffering. All content is sin. Bob, we played Marvel vs. Capcom
I was-
and Guilty Gear X on
I was gonna say
Dreamcast,
that.
and the D-pad fucked both of our thumbs
That
up because
D-pad-
that D-pad is trash.
That D-pad's the worst. Like, that is the most actively painful D-pad I've ever used.
In order to play Tetris 99 and actually get to choose a strategy while using a controller with a nice D-pad, I have to boot the game, use the Switch Pro controller, hit the stick in the direction I want to use for the strategy for the entire fucking match, quickly back out to the fucking controller settings, hit the A button on the SNES controller, and then back into the game before that first piece lands. That
Yeah,
pains.
Christ.
Mine's the same as yours, by the way. It's just making content
Yeah,
because
okay.
I do the games I care about the most,
Yep.
and because I need a reason to actually play them without saying I wasted my time.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes your videos break, and you're still working out problems with them. Still,
Hypothetically speaking, of course.
because you try to convert the
Still.
video again overnight, and even though you set it to do one file format, it just made another TS file, and I have to waste another night doing this. And it's a
Yeah,
195 gig TS file I can't do anything with.
I'm gonna go ahead and say tuning our shit to make it look really nice. It is an unbelievably huge nightmare that I'm only barely capable of as a person, and I feel like most people couldn't tune that upscaler. It's a blessing that Firebrand X has made pre-made settings for a lot of things, but there are some things where you have to make it per game, and that's a fucking nightmare.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I once made a setting for Mario 64, and then I was like, "Hey, Firebrand, why don't you have a 64 preset for people?" And he goes, "Oh, it's different per game." And I went, "What? What?" Like the preset I made
guess
worked
I'm just
on.
in hell.
I was like, the preset I made worked on the two games I cared about, Mario 64 and Star Fox 64. I didn't check Blast Core, but I just assumed it and Pilot Wings were fine. And that's the entire N64 library, everybody. Those
Forgot
4 games.
Quest 64.
God fucking damn it. But yeah, that shit like that, where it's really technical bullshit. But I really like being able to fucking watch one of our videos of retro game content, and it literally looks as good as me playing it on my real ass hardware on that TV. You know, like I like sharp pixels, so definitely that. Bob, have you thought of anything? Bob's like, I suffer for no man. Are you a god?
I mean, there's
He's like,
we already
he's
went over
like,
the controller.
I love living. I love living in my house, but I have to suffer Dan being in my house.
I just look like the troll Dante from the fucking Devil May Cry gif, and I'm just like, hey, Bob, time to do videos.
It's every single day.
Dan, please stop blaring Devil Trigger, Dan. Please.
Time for another monster.
Yeah, like it was went over all the content stuff.
Like 4 a.m.
Yeah, he was eating drinking that.
What the fuck is wrong with? And then you're like, to be real, I couldn't sleep at all after the stream. I fucking wonder why.
I was just too fucking angry. It was one of those things of like, the reason I'm still alive is I'm too fucking angry, and then I also
He
couldn't
was very
sleep that
angry
one
getting
time.
owned by me at Smash Brothers.
That
It
was
very
not
hard.
That was not why, but sure. I'm salty that Casey's a betraying son of a bitch.
I've done nothing wrong.
I tried to give you a smooch on the battlefield, and you fucking decked me in the mouth.
I said something at the same time, so I couldn't hear you.
Just imagine Otacon is like crying over fucking Sniper Wolf, and she punches him in the mouth as her last dying breath. That's what that was, KZ. I was
That
like,
should
we're
have fucking happened because the stupid fuck with Stockholm Syndrome needed to get punched.
I mean, you're not wrong. Look. Now that his father is a canonical character in those games, maybe Otacon's not so bad.
Otacon's all right.
Yeah, he's
At
all
least
right.
he wasn't
At times.
cucked to death the way his father was.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that. Phil, do you have anything that you suffer for that you enjoy? And please don't bring up sexual stuff.
No, not really.
CBT at gigaboots.com.
I'm gonna go with what this guy said and say using the 3DS.
See, I don't use the 3DS. I guess I have to for Castlevania months, don't I?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Only if you want to address Lords of Shadow, you could just refuse to acknowledge that sub-series at all.
We have to capture the DS games on a 3DS.
No,
Yeah.
mod a capture device onto a DS Lite.
They don't make them anymore.
What a shame.
What a shame! Yeah, it actually is.
What a shame!
What a shame!
But it's okay, because I'm going to be able to play Order of Ecclesia and Portrait of Ruin on a fucking TV, a dream I've had for a really long time, because I love those games so much.
Oh yeah, that is something that would be
It's
nice.
fucking nice. I guess everyone's done, so we can go ahead and move on. Chili Green writes in and says, salutations to the galaxy-brained generation. That sounds like a fighting game. That sounds like some shit Capcom or SNK puts at the bottom of the fighting game crossover. Or that the announcer just keeps saying during the character select. Sorry for the hiccup writing this email. I've had this question sitting on my mind for a while now. What's a subject matter, scientific or otherwise, not pertaining to games, art, or technology, that you particularly enjoy or hold dear to yourselves? I myself possess a great appreciation for language and biology today, although the interest in linguistics only came much later in my life. So everyone just brag about your big brains now.
I really like autobiographies. I think they're way more interesting than normal biographies because when you read a biography, you get what the author thinks is important.
Mm-hmm.
And when you read an autobiography, you get what that person thought was important,
Yeah.
which is always much more interesting.
But what if it's a ghostwriter?
If with a biography, that's still being talked to by the guy themselves.
Yeah.
But with a biography, like no matter how well researched it is, you're not going to get this time when I was 6, this one thing happened and it's really important.
Yeah. I agree with that. That's actually the kind of energy I try to take into our Patreon stuff on the GigaBoots account. Like just a weird, very
Like,
grounded, weird, somber almost look at what we do.
Like when I read Paul Stanley's autobiography last year.
Who the fuck is
don't
Paul
think-
Stanley?
He's part of KISS.
Oh, okay.
Who's Kiss?
Okay, Zoomer.
Oh yeah, the Unlockables from Tony Hawk.
Yes,
Those guys.
exactly.
But there's a part where he describes how Ace Frehley, another member of KISS, when Ace Frehley was fucking drunk and high constantly, had a setup, and this was in the 70s or 80s, had a setup in his hotel room on tour that projected onto the wall an image of his face morphing into Elvis and morphing back.
What?
Because
Why?
he thought because he was as good as Elvis.
Oh, is it like Animorphs?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I was
it
gonna
was-
fucking say. I was
Right?
like, this is some Animorph shit.
That's insane.
And
I
I don't think a normal biography would mention that fucking insanity.
No. Bob? You're a man of the fine arts
You know me.
and sciences. KZ?
I like Goosebumps.
I think everyone knows what my answer is going to be. Maybe we should just move along.
I was gonna say I really like the idea, or I like to know more about programming and put more time into that, but I know I'm really bad at it. Like I know I will never be able to get my brain to actually be good at doing that.
Mm.
But I find it
Dan,
fascinating.
Bob can't learn to code. He's like one of those journalists.
He can't code. He's busy going through all the emails.
I can actually I have actually written code that
Yeah.
operates.
Yeah, Bob's actually
do
built
not-
my code.
Do not email us, or else Bob can't code.
I maybe I could if I put in enough time, but oh man,
It takes
a lot.
Yeah, like we can't run a YouTube channel while you figure that out. There
And-
wouldn't be enough time.
Right. And there's so much just like, okay, you need to be really good at math for this, which I'm not great at math. So I know I would have to be doing a lot of things like over and over again, trying to find the correct solution.
I think the best way to phrase this is Bob and I had a final exam for our programming class in high school. The teacher was a complete hack. It was his first year teaching. It was so bad to the point that a student said, Mr. Schumann, you're a bad teacher. And he goes, yeah, I know. Just very.
When I took a programming class my senior year, the teacher didn't even bother to try and teach us. He just sat at his computer and played Quake, and then everybody else did too.
So I think for us, the scale went make a button, make an application that has a window, make a calculator that's rudimentary, make an entire video game.
Right.
So Bob and I went to make a dungeon crawler, Eye of the Beholder style game, where it was first person dungeon crawling with a battle system. Bob made the battle system. I made the dungeon crawling part. We finished. We tried to pass the values between the two applets, and it just wouldn't pass it. And then the brother of some chick I was dating at the time was like, hey, I can make this work because you guys basically did it right. It's just slightly off. And I'll do it for, and I can't remember what he did it for. Like I sold him a rated A. I traded him a rated M game for a rated T game once, and he was like, hella, because he had strict as fuck parents. And he was like 16, but yeah, he fixed that. That game was real great. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Obviously, later in life, I don't know what the cutoff date is for like something you came to appreciate later. Because by the time
I would say after high school, maybe.
See, that's the thing. Like in senior year of high school, that's when I realized I was really too fucking smart to be taking a normal pace of courses, and I was bored fucking shitless. So I went, as I mentioned on Twitter, I went and printed out a bunch of articles written by his John Stokes. His handle at the time was Hannibal. He wrote for Ars Technica, where he explained processor design and stuff like that. And I didn't understand any of this shit, but I printed up all of his articles. It was like 8 or 10 or something, where he works his way from like the smallest idea to the biggest idea, and then he compares completely different paradigms and ideas for how to design a processor, to the point of once he gets past the this is a PC, this is a Mac idea, he goes, this is a PC. Here's the fucked up shit Sony did with the PS2. And that was really fascinating, and learning about that really helped me understand stuff a little bit better when the PS3 came out and everything was a fucking shit show. It's just, yeah, as time went on, you know, I got more of an appreciation for understanding why games, you know, don't run perfectly all the time, that sort of thing. Like, I find that stuff really fascinating. I find what engines do really fascinating. Like, one of the weirdest engines of last gen was the Rage engine, you know, Tech 5, where it's just like, all the textures are generated per frame. But if you look after spinning a 180 and looking at a thing, that guy's face isn't there for 2 frames because we haven't generated it fast enough. And the thing was pushing so many boundaries on PC, it didn't work at all at launch. Like, just I think something about they couldn't get enough bare metal access back in the day. So everyone who's a hardcore id fan over time was just fucking pissed. They're like, why is the PS3 version of this working and not PC? What the fuck, Carmack? Carmack's like, I have to go launch rockets now. Bye. Favorite quote, Carmack saying making video games is harder than being a rocket scientist. Stop holding up rocket scientists as fucking geniuses. I'm going to assume everyone's good and we can move on.
I'm sure KZ came up with something.
He said Goosebumps.
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you not?
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm
I
sorry.
can't believe you completely ignored
answer.
him. That was his legit answer. As an adult, he was like, holy fuck, I can choose my own story.
KZ's
Yeah.
like,
Wait.
man, say cheese and die is raw.
It is. That one is.
God damn it.
Oh my god.
I can't deal with this.
Don't worry about it. Next.
Overpowered Ginger writes in, I didn't know Dr. Aggro listened to the podcast. Dear brains of various sizes, with all of the speculation regarding possible federal/state legislation of loot boxes as gambling and whatnot, I sometimes find myself wondering if good freemium games will find themselves over a barrel alongside the hacks and hucksters. An example that comes to my mind as a possible victim of this collateral damage is Warframe, not Warface, Warframe. The appeal of Warframe is as a free-to-play game that is is that instead of selling you something uncertain, playing the game gives you something uncertain and your money pays for something certain. However, I bet you a prime access that the jackasses voting for the laws and the nerds they hire to write said laws can't be arsed to make this distinction, especially if this devolves into a moral panic. Therefore, we have finally reached a question. Do you think that honest and ethical developers of free-to-play games should be nervous about legislating freemium games? On a similar note, how successfully do you think freemium developers can pivot to traditional pricing if they are forced to? I spend every day going, man, Overwatch is fucked.
Well, they said ethical, not people who specifically designed their loot boxes to exploit people.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
you're
Not the company that hired the psychiatrists behind slot machine payouts to make their loot boxes.
Phil hates loot boxes and federal agents.
He plays.
Correct.
He's fighting his own war. He's the man in the middle. I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know, really, because I don't have much of an opinion here, Bob.
I'm going to say that those are two very distinct things. Like what's in jeopardy right now is stuff that is random. Like if the premium content they're selling is fully labeled, there's not going to be a problem. Like there's no way these laws would affect that unless things are written like complete trash.
Bob, check this out. Game Boys were illegal in Greece for a bit there.
I know, but that was like a day and it was an accident.
It was a lot longer than a day, and a guy actually did get arrested.
Oh my god. But yeah, I don't feel that there's any, like, at the point the freemium games that are selling you directly the things,
right, guaranteed product.
That's literally everything digital.
Right.
There's no way they're going to let a law screw up that bad.
You would hope not. Yeah.
So here's my take.
Mm-hmm.
The developers making those games won't be affected by whatever legislation is enacted. They say you have to tell everybody your the chances of tell them all the rates, which is what it is in China, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if a game has loot boxes in China, they have to publish the rates. So that wouldn't affect them. If there's no random element making the game, you have to be 21 to play them, wouldn't affect them. The only thing that could affect them is if they somehow limit spending, but I think that would just be you have to punch in your credit card every single time to limit compulsive spending, which I think is the goal of a lot of these games, where it's like, I hit the button for 50 loot boxes. Shit, I didn't get it. It's one button to buy 50 more loot boxes.
It's a bit more involved on consoles, but yeah, it's still pretty easy.
It's 4 buttons.
I mean,
It's too easy is the point.
To be fair, if you made fucking anything where I have to enter 16 digits plus a date plus 3 more digits plus my name, I ain't gonna fucking do it. No matter what it is.
What are those 15 digits, though, Dan?
Oh, one sec. Okay, ready, Bob?
Attention, epic Gigaboy gamers.
Dan Video Games needs your help to defeat input lag.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious to put the age at 21, though, because it's like, hey, you can smoke, kid, but you can't play Overwatch. It's too dangerous with them loot boxes.
Well, that's just the law in general.
It's 18 here. I don't know what it is in your state, but
I thought casinos were always 21 because they throw drinks at you.
You can do lotto at 18, so gambling's 18.
Lotto. So I guess that would be it. So that would be just 18 would be fine.
Yeah. See what it's going to be is they're going to be like, you can sell your loot boxes, but let me tell you about Florida Overwatch skins. Special.
I definitely think they're going to get
state-sanctioned
soon,
Overwatch
though.
skins involving flamingos and Hawaiian shirts.
You only have to be 10, right?
The Eric pack coming soon.
Coming soon to Overwatch.
Get a unique sweatpants skin.
Soldier 76, I didn't think he could own sweatpants, but he does. Okay.
Eric plays Fallout 76 and he just gets power armor with sweatpants.
Okay. If one game needs power armor with sweatpants, it is Fallout 76, sir. Moving on. Our Electro Wave writes in, hey, Big Think crew. I'm the guy who made those premonition drawings for the Pokemon episode.
Nice.
Good, those were great.
They were
Yeah.
great.
Fantastic.
Tiramisu was just a heartless, which was incredible.
Yeah, that was great.
But
also, that snake looks even better, but not as good as Bob's. No notebook paper was involved this time.
But for the actual question, if you could cross over 2 franchises, no matter the genre or media, what would they be? Also, you guys are really funny and always make my day better. Godspeed. Dynasty Warriors, Tony Hawk. I wanna grind some shit as Lubu.
Do not pursue Bam.
Bam is dangerous.
Bam
You can call in Steve-O as a striker.
Bam and his elite tier deck, red hair. He's got a fucking.
His dick has flames in like
his
a tail.
His fucking deck has like a red horse on it, flame details around the side, and an actual horse tail coming out of the backside. Yeah, that's me. How about you, Mr. Feel?
One I've considered a while is Devil May Cry Cross Onimusha.
Okay.
I would like Capcom to make that at some point.
Seems
I just
doable.
think it'd be really funny. Like you do what Onimusha 3 did, and like Dante gets thrown back to feudal Japan, and Samanosuke is walking around Redgrave City.
That would be pretty amazing.
Now, one thing that has continued to exist, and it hit my mind because I was trying to think of like insane ones. But for some reason, I keep coming back to a Nintendo-related one where, you know, they do Donkey Kong and Mario stuff all the time. I feel like they don't really lean into it as much. It's usually like, oh, we made this mobile game for it, or it's like the mini Marios try to take down Donkey Kong that is supposed to be like the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
I want a 3D Donkey Kong style game made by the Mario team that crosses over Mario and Donkey Kong together and plays like a 3D adventure.
That could be really cool. And then it wouldn't be, trash like that 64 one they did. Because it won't be.
Yeah,
Oh wait,
like
I do
rare.
have one. Casey reminded me. F-Zero and Metroid just have a bounty hunting Captain Falcon meet Samus.
What kind of game would it be?
It would be a game where you Falcon punch dudes in 3D.
Okay, that's all you need.
If they could
Now I'm
find a
just
way,
thinking of a 3D Donkey Kong game made by Platinum.
if they could just find a way to cross Star Fox with Diddy Kong's racing.
Oh my god. You can finally explain the cliffhanger from Diddy Kong Racing story mode.
Wait, is there actually a cliffhanger? That would be fucking hilarious.
You're going to find out when we do that stream. It's so raw.
No,
Jesus
he won't.
Christ.
I don't believe Dan will be able to beat it in one stream.
He will. I'll be right there.
That game is brutally difficult.
And
I
at the
gr-
end, Bob
it's-
will
it
bury
is-
both
it
of
is-
us.
It's okay. I got the hot tips.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, I guess nowadays you could just look up a speed run guide or something.
No, that game is incredibly skill based. There's no like, oh, do this and it's really easy. It's like, no, all these bosses fucking suck. Hope you're good, chump.
Yeah, it's just if you know some optimal like paths to do, if
Mhm.
you know the actual mechanic stuff, like when you're using boosters in that game, you don't accelerate. Because if you stop accelerating and hit the boost, it gives you a double boost.
Yeah. It's I honestly really like that mechanic. I think shit, what was the name of that kart racing game made by the Little Big Planet karting
It was
guys?
Mod Nation Nation.
Mod Nation Racers. I think that also used that
Mhm.
mechanic. Mod Nation is actually pretty good.
And you also, all your items have 3 tiers. So
Mhm.
your rockets are like a normal shot, and
a
then
triple
it can be
shot and a super
can-
homing.
Yeah, and they have like the super homing, like the oil slick eventually becomes a bubble that holds you for 3 or 4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of tech in that game.
Yeah. It's weirdly complex.
Yes, you're gonna learn. The real Kingdom Hearts starts with Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh God, Bob.
Yeah, ruh-roh.
Obviously, Spider-Man cross Gran Turismo.
Oh my fucking God.
What?
How many times are we going to reference E3 2005? Is it just every week we get
I
one
hate
reference?
you. I fucking hate you, Bob.
You should hate Sony. They're the ones who did it.
They did. It was amazing and awful.
How
and
about this?
dumb.
How about this, Bob? Alfred Molina Face Simulator.
I'm crumbling.
That fucking E3 is unreal and it's bullshittery. I can't deal with it.
But yeah, in honesty, like I've always wanted
Turning to stone.
a Devil May Cry style game in a more futuristic setting. So I was like, well, maybe like Devil May Cry mixed with Mega Man, like that could be really
Devil
cool.
May Cry cross Nano Breaker.
No, I don't like those designs very much from Nano Breaker. Get me out of here. I need some cool robots to fight, not weird monsters things.
I actually thought of something even better for me personally than Dynasty Warriors Cross Tekken. Or, sorry, Dynasty Warriors Cross Tony Hawk. I want Tetris Attack Cross Puyo Puyo. I want a puzzle game like Puyo Puyo Tetris, but you can play as Tetris Attack or Puyo Puyo. Because, man, those are good games.
That'd probably be more fair than Tetris, than Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Oh,
Where
no.
if you're playing Puyo, you just fucked.
No, you have no idea what top tier Puyo play looks like. I'm pretty scrubbish at Puyo, and it's fucked. Like, if you know what you're doing, it's disgusting. It's to the point where the pro Puyo player I follow for forever, he just kept memeing Tetris is overpowered, and he would retweet a video where a Tetris player gets fucking unbelievably wrecked with like 36 lines, which is more than a whole play field shoved right up his ass. But you know, Tetris Attack is the same thing. If you're good at Tetris Attack, you can do like 10 combos, and that's what Puyo Puyo is when you're good at it. So I would love that.
Oh boy, I'm sure happy with my stairs that I built like 2 levels of.
Nice. We should do an online versus stream, definitely.
I'd love to see like
a murder live in front of everybody.
Right? Good Lord.
Delicious.
I'm trying to think of weird combos of games, and I'm just thinking Strider and Metal Gear Rising.
Then we could have a good Strider game.
I was about to say it. I can't believe Dan said that.
No,
I was about to say that.
He's too right.
I didn't know. I bought the Double Helix game. Was that any good?
That was the
actually,
best
that
one.
Game's all right.
That one's
Yeah,
all
that
right.
game's all right.
It's just amazing because me and Bob were like, hey, we need to go check out the long storied franchise of fucking Strider. And we go check out like all 3 games, the NES one, the arcade game it was based on, and then Strider 2. And we're like, oh.
It made the that game made by this original Strider guy that was released on PS3. I forget what it was.
Moonsault?
Yeah. Moonsault was a movie you could do in it. I don't remember what the game was.
Moondiver?
Moondiver.
Moondiver!
It made that make a lot more sense because that is also bad.
It is, yeah.
I feel weird
That
because
Double
I
Helix thing is a shame. Where they brought Killer Instinct back, made it great, made a decent Strider game,
Made the
and
best Strider
Amazon
game. And then Amazon bought them.
Bought them and said, make a MOBA basketball game, and that failed, didn't come out, and
they
now
were
they've made nothing.
They
Yep.
were sealed in the wage cage.
Yep.
Wait,
Can't get out.
Kate! That's
Yep.
my new wrestling name.
It's because they patented that thing for their warehouses where the employee has to stand. It's like in a cage on wheels with an arm.
Oh my god.
Wow.
So people started calling it the wage cage when it got revealed.
Fucking Amazon. What a nightmare. I do love that they were like, here's our new home delivery idea for Amazon. And the first tweet I saw about was some guy like, I'm going to order toilet paper, open up the top, take out the toilet paper, and take a shit in it. I'm like, yeah, that seems like they had it coming. Just take a dump right in the robot.
That's so bad.
It really is. But I
Imagine the prep for that. I'm like, oh man, I need to go now. I better order. And then he's sitting there
gonna
waiting
post-
3 hours. Like, I'm going to die waiting for this robot.
no, No, you clearly
Here's a
live.
meme somebody made of it.
You clearly live in one of those big cities,
Oh
Bob.
my god, this wage cage.
Dude, that wage cage is. I love the meme face inside of it. But Bob, you clearly live in one of those big cities where you can do same day delivery.
Right?
And you're like, come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll take hours.
I gotta shit get here.
This is how Bob dies.
At a certain
Okay,
point.
we're dying.
at
We
a
have 2 questions left. We need to get through them before we're corpses.
Look, all I'm saying is at a certain point of robots returning to HQ full of human shit, they'll stop doing it. Okay. How did we get to shitting in robots from crossover to video games, please?
Amazon?
Oh, okay. Silent Gray says, "Hey Giga Crew, what are your opinions on, quote, toxic fan bases? Since the launch of Kingdom Hearts 3, I've seen a good amount of comments say that the Kingdom Hearts series has one of the most toxic fan bases ever, which is a statement you hear about almost every other large franchise ever made. His list here is confounding, but I'll read it. Sonic, Dark Souls, and Undertale. I guess it applies to those, but I'm like, biggest games ever made, Sonic. Which fan base do you think is the most toxic or most terrible if you don't like the use of the word toxic? Or do you think there are no toxic fan bases? No toxic franchises and fans like to blow things out of proportion when they see the small percentage of the fan base that behave like idiots. I'm really enjoying your content. Keep up the good work. And I hope KZ enjoys the bouncer when he is eventually forced to play it. I know we will enjoy seeing him do it."
Let me field this one first,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I see this a lot, and I've kind of gotten tired of the general, look how bad this fan base is. I found these posts of people being ridiculous, and I'm like, no, I've never subscribed to that general way of complaining about stuff, because I don't like painting entire groups of people with a broad brush when it's
weird.
something silly like
What?
Video games,
When you
TV shows,
What?
shit like that.
When you phrase it like
Where
that,
it's like, no.
it makes it sound like it's unreasonable to do it.
It's like, oh man, this fan base is toxic because a few people, said this thing that annoyed me. Like, okay,
Tacos are
Not
toxic because I ate Taco Bell and shit my brains out. Don't eat tacos, you guys.
I just find that general idea to be ridiculous, where it's like, no, there's no real toxic fan base. There's people who like a thing who are in general are probably toxic, but that never ends up representing the whole. So I don't see the point. Just ignore it.
Right, exactly.
Don't
You get a
engage
large
with
enough you get a large enough collective of people, you're going to have a bunch of bad eggs. That's just the way it works. Sometimes they work off of each other. There's no such thing as a toxic fan base except for Steven Universe.
They did do that thing where they review bombed a motel on Yelp because it was in the show, and the joke in the show was that it was bad.
Every time I make this joke, someone tells me a new fucking story about the Steven Universe fandom, and it blows my fucking mind.
But
I can't believe you did it.
First of all, the most unreasonable thing I've ever seen a Kingdom Hearts fan say is, you should play the games before talking shit about them.
Play video games. What a death sentence.
The most toxic thing I've ever seen a Kingdom Hearts fan say is, "Hey, you're stuck working with me for the next 3 hours. I'm going to tell you what happens in Kingdom Hearts 3 because I know it, because my brain tells me I know it, and this was 4 years ago."
How much of it was right?
Oh yeah, that one.
You think I fucking listened?
I wish you had listened so we could check
Now,
it out.
here's the thing.
Why do we
The
both
Kingdom
have
Game
Hearts
of
fan-
Premonitions episode 0.
The Kingdom Hearts fan base is toxic because KZ is part of it, and he made me watch Recoded.
I didn't make you. You fucking said yes.
Oh, that's right. Damn, I don't even have that.
Right.
Now, I definitely think certain things attract more crazy people.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You can do certain things with your campaign
Like,
or content that maybe
I
steers a
don't
bunch of
think,
questionable people your way.
I don't think Voltron had a big enough fan base to justify the amount of lunatics associated with that, where they were threatening to kill the animators and shit.
Whoa.
And like, I don't think Persona is big enough to get where people throw used diapers at cosplayers of characters they don't like.
It only takes one, okay?
Yeah, this happened like shortly after it came out.
It only takes one.
There was a big stink about how like
there
who
was.
were cosplaying as Akechi were getting fucking ruthlessly abused like they were the actual person.
Right? It was crazy.
Like
How dare they do that?
and then you get stuff like Green Naruto is a child abuser and that's the T, sis. And then that gets 80,000 retweets. And I just look at it perplexed.
I don't even know what that means.
I
get who the target is, but I don't get it.
Honestly, to me, and this may sound fucking crazy, and of course people are going to misinterpret this.
The problem
but here
is
I go
children.
anyway.
Everyone under 18.
Oh, wow. And I thought I was going to say a controversial thing and feels like, banish the children!
Children are not allowed on the bridge.
Feel stands up and adjusts his Star Trek onesie.
It's like footy pajamas with the butt flap.
Yeah, just like what they wore on the show.
Yes.
Just like what Eric wears. He doesn't have to take it off to go to the bathroom.
Look, it's just convenient. It's aerodynamic. It's
Boy, he's
efficient.
good. Boy, once again at the end of the podcast.
Right? Okay. I'm gonna say the only toxic fan base I've ever actually known is the Mega Man Maker fan base, because they send me levels that crash, and they know that it crashes it, and they do this
It's
consistently.
okay, they gave you super chats.
Here's $5. By the way, your program's gonna crash, and you're gonna spend 10 minutes setting this up again.
Here's $5. Drink this poison.
Right,
Oh,
it's like,
okay.
Here's $5. I'm gonna stab you now. Is that fine?
Okay, yeah, sure. Siri set a timer for 30 minutes.
If you don't navigate this maze perfectly, Mega Maker will crash.
Oh, you fool! You ignoramus! You didn't rush jump twice.
I've edited the level. If it crashes Mega Maker, it will install ransomware on your computer.
And I'm like, wow, we just up in the ante all the time here in the Mega Maker fan community. But no,
I will need 6 bitcoins to unlock your computer.
Oh no,
$6.
That could be any amount at any time.
I do think the Mega Man Maker community does some amazing things. There actually is a toxic side to it, and I don't engage with any of it. I don't go to that Discord. Those people are pretty fucking awful. One of our viewers got hired as a member of the staff and immediately got like death threats and shit. Because he was not the guy they were rooting for. So, with that said, we're going to move on. Jack Sexton, who I do not believe that name at all. He says, "Hi guys. Do you guys feel that developers should be more open about how a game's development is going and what goes into it? It just strikes me. After the Metroid Prime 4 video Nintendo released had such a strong positive reception, it might help prevent a lot of controversies. For example, I cannot believe this email's taking this direction. Holy shit, Bob. We didn't have to reference it earlier.
Oh, no.
Fuck, god damn it. If I had read it, I would have cut that part out.
The E3 2005 infamous Killzone 2 fake E3 demo, which, fun fact, was actually an internal CG video, actually you're wrong, meant to explain what the dev team were going to aim for, and the executives added it to the E3 showcase without letting the developers know, and they found out by watching live as the presenter claimed it was gameplay. Could have been solved if they came out and clarified the situation, and might have diffused it. Actually, that shit wasn't even made by them. That was outsourced.
Without their knowledge, yes.
That was like that CGI thing is literally outsourced entirely. It was made by a completely different CGI company.
So it's like Phantom Dust, where they had never seen that trailer before when they showed it at E3 and also didn't know they had already been canceled.
I figured it was also this, and I shit you not. I shit you not. This is how familiar I am with this trailer. At first, I got thrown because he didn't call it the Killzone 3 trailer, because that's what they called that game when they first showed it off. They called it Killzone 3.
Me?
They called it Killzone 3 because the PSP was going to have a Killzone, and that one would be Killzone 2. I'm not.
How dare you say this to me?
The field just starts arcing energy like the shopkeep in fucking Link's Awakening.
How did you make me this tired?
So, the problem is that a lot of people don't understand game design, but they watch a lot of YouTubers who also don't understand a lot of game design. But then after doing that, because the YouTubers think they understand a lot of game design, and now the viewers do think that as well, they feel really entitled to issue platitudes and dismiss things. So I think that's a fucking terrible idea because of that, because people will be like, oh, don't do a ledge grabbing mechanic. That never goes well. It's like, well, it doesn't go well for games of a certain type, but it might work for what they're going for, asshole.
Not only that, but like in a perfect world, yes, I would love to know more about the process of game development.
Right.
But in the world we live in, like people don't even understand. The majority of people think that the thing that they get popped into existence in the creator's brain perfectly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, most of Devil May Cry 4 is scrapped ideas from 3. So imagine you knew about the development of Devil May Cry 3, and the whole time you were like, oh, that hand-grabbing thing seems really cool. Oh, that other thing seems really cool. And then they come out with 4, and it's those things, and you're like, oh, those cheap assholes. They cut it from that game just to shit out another.
Or it's just like, here's a level that wasn't in the final game because it wasn't fun, and we made a better level. Oh, shipping an unfinished game, huh? Saving it for the DLC? What a shit company.
I feel like Phil should do a censored gaming parody with that voice. I feel like there's something real good about shipping
He's
an
really
unfinished
good at
game,
bad
huh?
voices.
Yeah, no, he's the best. I love it.
I'm really good at giving people I don't like condescending voices.
It's called,
Yeah, you're really good at that.
It's called acting.
Or it's like Dark Souls 1's DLC was stuff they weren't able to finish. People don't seem to understand that eventually you have to ship a game no matter how many ideas you have.
Right. I mean,
And no creator wants to throw away ideas they think are good.
I mean, look at Dark Souls 2.
So obviously they're going to use them again.
Look at Dark Souls 2. How in the fuck would that have gone any better with the graphic downgrade if people were fucking informed along the way? Like,
watching
how
it
in
as
the
it
hell?
just stripped.
Yeah.
I mean, also that game that they used pre-downgrade stuff to market the game up till launch.
Yeah, if publishers are going to get better about not doing stuff like that.
If they could get away from bullshots,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that term being coined to describe Killzone's game photos, because they rendered the photos at insanely high resolutions, and all the shadow maps were rendered per pixel,
Like for
perfect
Killzone
lighting.
1?
Killzone 2.
Okay.
But Killzone 1 also did it, but nowhere near the scale of Killzone 2. But Killzone 2's, they literally rendered it at above 1080p. Each and every pixel had the shadowing calculated for it. So the shot is this dude climbing over a fence as you point a gun at him with a light on it, and the shadow is perfectly cast against the wall. You play the game, and the shadow's resolution is like 20 by 20. It's Tetris blocks. It's huge. Like, it's blocky shit. And it's just like, wow, that's nothing like what you showed me.
I thought that term came up like earlier than that, though.
It
I
might
could have
have,
sworn that it
but
was like
it
a
really-
big major thing on Xbox original was Halo.
Dude, don't
Halo
even.
2.
These people are tired when I bring up E3 2005.
Okay.
If I start going on rants about how Microsoft invented the Xbox is going to look like the movie Toy Story, they're going to kill me. If that
fair.
becomes my thing, they're just going to fucking kill themselves or me to get the fuck out. But
All
yeah,
I remember about the Xbox lore is that they originally considered calling it the Fat Man because they wanted it to nuke the Japanese gaming market.
oh my god,
God.
that's how many?
And then the guy who specifically floated that idea went on to write a PowerPoint presentation about how you shouldn't hire engineers with girlfriends or wives because they will want to spend time with them instead of always working, and you should in fact try to hire autistic virgins.
That guy. I've read about that guy.
Yeah.
And then he talked about female coders and used a picture of orcs as the header.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he like some parallel universe version of Chris Chan? Like,
and then his daughter posted like a tweet like, "I hate this man. You should all never listen to him."
I mean, if anyone would know.
Yeah, it'd be the family.
Yeah. They're like, do not trust this man. His moves are weak.
I found my dad. I taped him to a swing set.
We left him there at the playground.
Yep. It was done. So I was thinking about this question of like different approaches to how like open developers can be about game development.
Mm-hmm.
And this gen, we actually got a good example of it with Square in particular, where Final Fantasy 15 and KH3 were very different in how they presented those games, where KH3 was the usual complete blackout on information until they have something they're ready to show. And then it's like some polished trailer of some sort. And with 15, they showed stuff every 2 weeks, even if you didn't want it. They did multiple live stream. They did a live stream like every month, which was ATR's active time reports. And I watched all of them. They made that kind of content, I feel like, made the game worse. Like in terms of public perception.
Yes.
Because they showed so much unfinished stuff and discourse around how much game they showed. Just made shit worse to even talk and approach that game.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like the first half of this generation is a lot of marketing campaigns like that, where publishers were terrified to wait. Games were taking a while, and they just wanted to spend a whole fucking year and a half doing marketing. And towards the end, you know, with Kingdom Hearts 3 and like Mortal Kombat, look at the new Mortal Kombat. They're clearly learning, hey, maybe just shut the fuck up and then they'll be excited when we announce it. And I'm like, oh my God, I never thought my side of this argument would win. I just thought it would get more and more insufferable as we went.
Man, I feel like No Man's Sky was kind of the bullet in the head of announce things way early. Because it was like that game was at 3 E3s and 2 VGAs. And then it came out and fucking burst into flames.
Like I have no problem with early announcements in general, but I don't like the idea of having to keep hearing about it.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
I'm like, I don't need to hear about it. It's like I would love to see KH3 having showed up every year, but I do appreciate that whenever it did, there was something of note to talk about and look at.
I'm opposing KZ. Just don't even let me know it exists until it's 18 months or less out.
I think the hypest shit is when you don't know. Like Astral Chain was fucking off the chain.
Nintendo has gotten really good about this, where they don't even let you know a game exists.
Right.
Unless it's like
I mean, fucking away. Mario Maker was announced 4 months before it comes out.
We started this on Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Which they made that mistake. They announced it. Imagine if we had
that was special circumstances though, because it was like the previous year they had been, here's Federation Force. Like they had to show that they knew.
I'm gonna be honest. I like hype, so I'm fine with that. I'm also someone who's patient, so I have no problem waiting a long time for something, because I do like that part of my brain that goes, it's okay, they're making it. Calm down.
Based on everyone's reaction on this podcast, I'm going to say the Metroid Prime 4 thing went as good as you could want it. Like they announced it to let people know that they're not abandoning Metroid and they're giving it a shot. And then they had to restart it so that way it was a good game. And then they told us and it was fine. Like that's my ideal scenario.
I think the fans are in general the concept of a company doing something that will cost more money, but it'll make the product better, is completely foreign.
Right. They're not used to that from any other publisher.
Any company, even Japanese companies that I love, if any company had been in Nintendo's situation, they would have been like, salvage it the best you can, let's push it out.
Yeah, I feel like most Western publishers would have been like, do a crossover with Golden Corral. See if you can't get that mad cheerwine money.
Put in some microtransactions. We only need to get like 3 whales, and that'll cover the game.
How many dances from How many sitcom dances can we steal and hope they don't win that lawsuit?
But yeah, my point there was if things were open up, if we've seen things just go completely wrong with Metroid Prime, like if they've been talking about it every month, and we'd be seeing literal behind the scenes development of it, it'd be just months of like, why are you showing me this? This is all bad.
Right. And on top of that, when it does finally go to shit, you know damn well every one of these motherfuckers that I was just talking about earlier would be like, well, no wonder it didn't go right. You didn't do this thing. In his fucking YouTube video, Mark Brown said this thing about stuff. I'm a genius.
Yeah, it was all a nightmare. Like all those Final Fantasy 15 streams where they go, we've taken your feedback on this demo. Let's do a Q&A on some of the questions that you may have asked that are PR friendly about this. We're updating this. Here are some character models that don't matter, but we're making them.
I think the best form of taking feedback is what Koei Tecmo has started to do, where it's like, here's a beta. Tell us what quality of life shit you want changed. And then they do that, but they don't actually take feedback on the mechanics.
Here's a beta. That's my Twitter handle. Oh.
But that I think that really helped Neo, because if it had gotten to final with the rapid equipment degradation where you're constantly changing gear, that would have been miserable.
Bob, do you have opinions on this?
I remember playing that.
The durability system was rough. It's weird. I still don't think they nailed it in the final game for like how item drops work in that.
Yeah, I think a controversial statement time.
Uh-oh.
No game that isn't an MMO with MMO style gear is fucking stupid.
Yeah, like I didn't feel like I could actually legitimately upgrade my gear near the end of that game.
I don't want to pick up a purple spear in Neo.
But I want to pick that up in Destiny.
I don't want to grind out legendary weapons in Darksiders 2.
But I want to do that in Diablo 2.
But I mean, the anything that isn't like a single player game should not have MMO loot.
But I played Diablo in single player mode on the land by myself and do the command to set players to 6, so that way there's shitloads of enemies.
Yeah, it's a weird place because like Diablo 2 does it right.
Right.
And so many other things just get it so wrong.
Basically everything. Yeah,
right,
I get that.
It's hard to
But Diablo
say it's good.
2 is an online loot based game.
No, you can play that
You can play that single player.
You do all the time.
You can, but they don't want you to.
People do that all the time.
Diablo 1 was single player, wasn't it? Didn't they add multiplayer later?
I think they patched in Battle.net on Diablo 1.
I mean, parts of Diablo 2 made me want to play it single player, like when guys would drop 1 coin on every single piece of ground, so you lag to shit and then they kill you.
But yeah, I've only ever played Diablo single player or LAN with, literal friends in the same room.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I mean, my preferred method, because it's so much simpler to set it up that way, is to play in LAN mode by myself and set the player count to 6. So that way it scales up all the enemies and stuff. Because, setting up LAN, that's an investment. And I'm always for that, but I don't always have the time. But yeah, I think we're all in agreement that having a completely transparent dev process would be a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah.
In that no PR person deserves to fucking deal with that.
Why is this character's hairstyle change a little bit? That's bullshit.
God, those takes from Final Fantasy 15 were the most insane.
Oh, was that a real take? I just made that up.
That was real.
Fucking stupid.
Somebody freaked out.
There's the difference. Like, what hair are we talking about, Bob?
I'm talking about the
You're describing KZ Ono.
the wife's, or the main character's wife's hair. Whatever her name was.
The non-character.
Yeah, the one that didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Those were different
Princess
characters, Bob.
female.
All right,
Those were different characters.
Yeah, that was a bit of a different thing where Nomura's version of that game had a completely different character with a different name, a different role. I think even like
there was definitely that, but there was also people freaking out over her hair changing. After was her.
Yeah, he's talking about they made the new character, they made a model, then they changed that model and her hair changed. And that was post the Nomura shift.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, no. It
I
was,
think I think there's just a lot of people who are just kind of, upset because they wanted that game they were promised in 2006. It's like how they took your father character, the king in that, and completely changed his character design from the 2013 trailer.
yeah, no, that was frustrating because it was just like, now he's like super old.
Because he's supposed to be like a part of a kingdom of Yakuza with like slick back hair, and he looks a bit, more suave, and now he's just boring Western king guy.
Yeah, it was frustrating.
Yeah,
This
it's really
will be
frustrating.
appealing to the Western fans.
And I mean, yeah, so that's the thing. I think everything will be worse if we have fully transparent dev cycles.
I feel like just show things when they're ready. If you need feedback on certain things, that's when you do some outreach stuff. But I feel like
I
do
like
a
what they
demo with a survey like Koei Tecmo does. And you have to play the fucking demo, do the survey.
I like what they did
to like literally the top of the line or the top tier players.
Yeah, like Devil May Cry
Like
5
DMC5 did.
I like what Doom did, Doom 2016. They didn't show off the fucking thing to the public like for real until 2015, but they had in fact showed it privately at IdCon, I think the year before. So it was a closed showing. They told people, hey, don't film this this is special for you people here at QuakeCon. I think that's neat. That communicates, hey, it's real. We're going to show you the thing. It's early in development. It gets to be neat for you, but we're not inviting everyone in to bitch about this. We're going to show it off when it's ready. And I like that. But
I think a problem that can also happen with being transparent on like if something goes wrong and you're restarting something like what Nintendo did. Nintendo's one of those companies where people will pretty much believe them 100%. But I'm willing to bet that if Square did that with one of their games, people are like, no, it's all fucked. It's canceled.
Final Fantasy 7 remake isn't happening.
It's not real.
It's not real.
I like it's such a weird coincidence how every single person who had really stupid Kingdom Hearts 3 will be delayed, it's never coming out, everybody's incompetent, immediately went and posted, it's bad, it's unfinished takes. It's weird how YouTubers who normally title their videos very simply made sure to include that they thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was bad in their titles of the videos about Kingdom Hearts 3.
Bob, they noticed I renamed the live streams. We got to end this.
Once again, the two-faced Dan has struck. Just because I owned him in Smash one time.
Fucking
he just couldn't handle it.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for thinking with us. If you would like to send in questions to the Big Think Mailbag, send your questions to btd@gigaboots.com. That's btd@gigaboots.com, standing for Big Think Dimension, which used to be the thing that this... Don't worry about it. BTD. Okay, Bob.
What's up?
We're doing it.
What am I supposed to say at the beginning of this? Like
You're supposed to say that this is the GigaBoots executive producers. That you're supposed to thank them.
This month's GigaBoots executive producers for February 2019 are Vincent Poverk, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Brendan O'Sullivan, Star Falcon,
Even if you say it right now, it's that one.
Spaceman Spiff, Prince Van Space, Danny Richardson, Dryzart, Wardonis, Shadow in the Darkness, and Shadow in the Darkness. Thanks to our executive producers, and also these guys. Oh man, where'd they go? They're so quick. You think they'll be back?
No. Tell them they can go to patreon.com/gigaboots today.
Go to gigaboots.com and become a patron. Yeah, you can go to GigaBoots. You can go to patreon.com and become a patron of GigaBoots.
We're letting you do that. You're welcome.
It was great. It would be great. Thank you for doing it. I'm sure you've already done it.